surprise twist, it looks like American liberals are now missing former President George W. Bush. Many bloggers say that while Bush wasn't popular with Muslims, he still emphasized that Islam is a peaceful religion after 9/11 and that only a small group of extremists are the problem. But now today's Republicans are lashing out about the plans to build an Islamic center at Ground Zero. So are we seeing a new era of fear-mongering using Islam as the tool? Here to talk about this with me is filmmaker and blogger Danny Schechter. So Danny, first of all, let's take a look at this headline from Salon.com. I'm not sure if you got a chance to see it. It says that for the GOP, Islamophobia is the new anti-communism. And the sub-headline, our viewers are taking a look at it right now, reads that while George W. Bush called Islam a religion of peace, as I said before, his party's base never really believed that. What's your take on that assertion?
Well, you have to understand a Republican political strategy has been to create and to play off of wedge issues. Any issue that polarizes people, that could split Democrats by appealing to prejudice, fear, xenophobia, or what have you, is a legitimate issue. And so what we have here is a relatively small group of organized political activists, I would call them extremists, who have latched onto this. Why? Because the media loves it. They eat it up. Why? Because conflict and polarization is what drives media coverage. So with organs like Fox News sympathetic to this effort, other news outlets reporting on it because of the conflict involved in it, this has gone from a handful of people to a mass issue.
Okay, so Danny, let's
be... all over the country are involved.
Let's be specific here. You know, you said political activists are making a big deal out of this. It's also, you know, more specifically, Republicans are going crazy over this Islamic center. I want to give you a couple of examples. I believe we have some graphics here. Sarah Palin recently tweeted, "Peaceful Ground Zero mosque supporters, doesn't it stab you in the heart as it does ours throughout the heartland? Peaceful Muslims, please repudiate." First of all, I want to point out that it's important to remember that this quote-unquote mosque that everyone is talking about is actually an Islamic center that apparently has a prayer space in it. You know, but what's up with Palin? And also I want to show you one other quote from Newt Gingrich that he posted on his website, that there should be no mosques at Ground Zero because there are no synagogues in Saudi Arabia. Really? Since when was the United States taking cues from Saudi Arabia on religion? So, Danny, I mean, was this just the perfect opportunity they were all waiting for to spew all this hatred towards Islam?
It is the new anti-communism, but it's politically calculated and cynical. We have to realize what it is here. This is not people who sincerely worry about Islam. The author of a book on Obama's war on America is the leader of this effort here in New York against the Islamic Center at Ground Zero. The attempt here is to really play on people's fears and to try to use this in a political way to really put the Obama administration on the defensive because the president, his father was a Muslim. So here you have a situation where this issue is clearly calculated to do just that. More heat than light. To play to fear, to play to prejudice. It's working among those people who are receptive to it. But I think it will be rejected ultimately, not only by Muslims in America, but by people of goodwill.
Okay, and I want to go back to the comparison that I made earlier when I was introducing this topic, you know, saying that is Islamophobia the new anti-communism? I mean, is this another McCarthy era where Islam is the target instead of communism? What do you think?
Well, I think so, but we have a problem here. And, you know, the one aspect has not been mentioned. The United States is now losing 2 wars in Muslim countries. The United States has been unsuccessful in bringing Osama bin Laden and al-Qaeda, quote, to justice. So there's a tremendous amount of frustration among the American people with these failures, and as a result, they're kind of spinning out rage against a whole religion, over 1 billion people, on the grounds that somehow all of them are against us. It's a kind of paranoid, delusional approach, but it seems to be effective because if you can string together 2 or 3 facts, no matter how related or unrelated, tie this to synagogues in Saudi Arabia or whatever, you know, it sort of plays with an audience that doesn't know anything about Islam, doesn't know anything about Saudi Arabia, or that Saudi Arabia is one of America's best allies in the Middle East. So it's all, if you will, demagoguery, but we've seen it before and we'll see it again until the next issue comes along that this whole gang can jump on.
And Danny,
right now it's Islam.
Right, and you know, I'd love to kind of pause for a minute, and if you could speculate, perhaps look into the future of, you know, our country. Where do you think all this hatred is going to lead? Are these Republicans creating a face-off between Muslims and the rest of the country?
Well, it's kind of coded language. I mean, look, you can't really attack the old people that you used to attack. There is no more communist threat in America, really. You can't attack blacks because they're very well organized. And, you know, there are civil rights laws in effect. You can't really attack Jews because, you know, Jews are not perceived as being, you know, out there to undermine the country. So Muslims fit in nicely. Muslims and immigrants have both become the target du jour, the target that people love to hate because they can use that to galvanize their political base. And that's what's really so sad here. But it also sends a message around the world to people in other countries who are, you know, rapidly losing respect for the United States because of this spectacle.
Yeah, that's a great point, too. Well, that was blogger and filmmaker Danny Schechter. Thank you.